Okay, I've kind of got it all sanded down, made it look good, and put some little stickers on there and stuff. We're going to put an Emax motor in here. This is the 2306, sorry, 2306 motor. Now, if you want, you can put the motor on the mount and then glue it in or whatever, but there's really enough room to get it all in there. This is the motor mount. You want to slide it down in there, and you can see it sticks over the edge a little bit, and that's got to be level, but it fits in there very nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some hot glue in here. Now you can use foam tack for this or whatever, but I'm just going to use hot glue, and I'm going to place it in here and squish it down pretty good so we spread out the hot glue. Okay, and that makes it pretty strong. I'm going to add a little edge to the front here, give it a little more strength right there. Then I'm also going to add a little bit to the sides here on both sides. Alright, then double check that everything is nice and square, flat, and glued in well, and that's pretty much your motor mount. I suppose you could brace that up a little more, but I haven't really had an issue with it, so it should be pretty good. You've got a 5-inch slot in here for a 5-inch prop. You can always open that up a little bit if you need to, but I'm thinking 5 inches is plenty big for most of these high kV motors. Then you have your servos are next. Your servo is actually going to go in the slots, and they are going to be on the bottom side. I find that the rudders will protect the servo really nicely. So you're gonna glue your servo right in there, and then you want your arm perpendicular. Then you're gonna put your control horn on the back, and then you're gonna connect it, and there's gonna be a linkage stopper in there to get everything done. Now, as far as tucking your wire and stuff, you can tuck your wire up against the rudder and bring it around through here, or you can actually, bring it on top of here and bring it over to your receiver. Or my favorite method is to bring it, cut a little slot and like pop a little hole in here and pull it through, and then you can always seal that hole with glue afterwards. But I kind of like that method, so I'm going to go ahead and put those in there. I'm going to wrap the servo wire around it. I'm going to put it in there with the arm closer to the back. Alright, so I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to hit the side with a little bit of glue, and then squirt a little bit under the front and the back, and then push it down. Okay, that should hold it really good. Now while you're here, you can also add a little bit of, push a little bit of glue to each side of the rudder, and that'll even give it some more strength. I usually center my servos so that my arm is going to stick out here. Let's see, there we go. Sorry about that. So I'm going to put my arm on here, and it's going to be sticking. It's about as perpendicular as I can make it. Now that servo is glued in there good, I'm going to let it cool just a little bit. I see a little bit of a gap here I'm going to fill in. There we go. Then I'll put my linkage stopper and my control horns in. Okay, I've got my control horns here, and then I have my linkage stoppers. you get these with the kit, so I'm gonna just open up a new pack. But the cool thing about these control horns is that you have a hole large enough that you don't have to drill out to put your linkage stopper in there. So you can make these up ahead of time. You can just push those right through and put your little nut on this side, get it started, and then screw this in so that you don't have any slop in your control horn. Now sometimes you have to tighten it up a little more. You want to be able to turn this, so make sure you can turn it, but then make sure you don't have any slop. Then once you get it to that point, you can take a little drop of CA, or you can take foam tack or whatever and put in there, and that will lock it so that will not unscrew during flight, because if that nut unscrews during flight, you're going to lose your linkage stopper and you are going to lose control of your airplane. So just put a little drop in there. Make sure you don't glue the nut to the control horn, and then once you get that together, you want both of these, you want to make two of them opposite of each other. So you want to put a control or a linkage stopper facing in on both sides. So you have it like that. Put your little nut on here again, and make sure you don't have any slop in there, and it should work out really good. Now the Allen screws that actually retain the rod, I always put in last. Alright, so now that one didn't tighten up all the way, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tighten it a little bit with the needle nose pliers, and then make sure I don't have slop in there. Now I'm probably gonna have to put, let's see, I can put a little piece of wire through here. Let's see, I've got a pin right here, we'll use that. Okay, to hold keep it from turning, and then give it a little tweak. Okay, until this doesn't have any slop. And I can go just a little bit more, I think, and it'll be perfect. So you tighten it up just a hair more. There we go. Now I'm a little bit too tight, so I'm gonna just move that. There we go. Now we're good. Okay, so I'm going to add another little drop of CA, and you want to use like a medium CA on this. I picked up a thin, but really medium should work fine. Thin tends to work its way into the control horn. So I'm going to crank this a little bit tighter. There we go. There we go. Perfect. So you want this to spin nicely, and you want to lock that on there. That's your main thing. Alright, now I'm going to back this up here a little bit. Alright, and what we're going to do is place our control horns in the slots. There's actually slots here. So you want both of these to face in. Okay. And those fit very nicely. Let's get both of them in here. Okay. That one's going to go in right there. And there's a little angle on the front of these. I'm going to put a little bit of, I'm going to put a line of hot glue here. Then I'll put this in, and then I'm going to check. There we go. That's perfect. And then I'm going to tilt this up. Now that little angle should be like parallel with your wing. And it should be the same distance on both sides, otherwise you're going to get a little different control on each elbow. So make sure both of these are about the same point when you lift them up, same distance away from the fuselage, or the wing, I guess you would, the wing-alage. Alright, so those look really good. I double checked it. I'm going to push these down, make sure they're perpendicular. And again, push a little bit of glue on each side of that, and you should be good. And that one I'm going to tweak just a little bit, and that's it. Okay, while we're down here putting all the control horns in and everything, I'm also going to add, I'm going to weave a little bit of glue onto the motor mount and the body. This gives it just a little more strength. The motor mount actually will extend past the bottom of this, so it's sticking up right now a little bit, and that's to allow you to get a little bit of glue on there and give it a little more strength. And that should work out pretty good for you. Control horns, I kind of went around the control horns with a little bit of glue. And we're going to get the other servo in and get pushback in.